You walk into the store, and there it is. A $250 gas grill sitting right next to a $1,500 one. Same general shape, both have knobs on the front, both say they cook food. And unless you already know exactly what to look for, you will probably stand there for 5 minutes, wonder what you are actually paying for, and eventually make a decision based on the logo, the color, or the number of burners on the front panel. That is a normal reaction. And it is also how a lot of people end up either overspending on features they will never use or underspending on a grill that falls apart in 2 seasons. Today, we are going to break down where that $1,200 gap actually goes. Not the marketing version, the real version. Materials, burners, lids, grates, grease systems, warranties, and long-term costs. Some of it will genuinely justify the premium. Some of it will not. And by the end, you will know which option makes sense for the way you cook, not just the way the display model looks. Hit subscribe before we get into it. This channel is about honest grilling advice, not sales pitches. I'm Jerry Davis, and I've spent enough time around grills, smokers, outdoor kitchens, and burned food to know which details actually matter and which ones are just packaging. When you compare a $250 grill to a $1,500 grill, the story is not simple, but it is knowable, and knowing it will save you money. Let's start where most people start: the steel itself. When you hear the words stainless steel grill, it sounds like a guarantee. Stainless, it's right there in the name. But the grade of stainless steel used on a grill makes an enormous difference in how long it survives outdoors, and manufacturers are not always eager to tell you which grade they used. The 2 grades that come up most often in gas grill construction are 304 and 430. 430 stainless contains about 16% chromium and no nickel. It is cheaper to produce, and it does okay in dry climates with regular upkeep. But owners in humid regions, coastal areas, or places with harsh winters consistently report surface rust and surface streaking within the first 2 or 3 seasons. It holds up well enough if you keep a cover on it, clean it after every cook, and live somewhere with mild weather. But if you forget to cover it a few times, or you are anywhere near salt water, 430 degrades faster than most buyers expect. 304 stainless contains about 18% chromium and 8% nickel. That nickel content is what makes the real difference. It holds up in wet climates, coastal exposure, and temperature swings without the surface rust that 430 develops. The long-term performance comparison is significant. Owners who report running 304 based grills through heavy seasonal use and real weather exposure consistently get more years out of them before any visible degradation appears, compared to 430 based grills in the same conditions. Here is the frustrating part. Most $250 grills do not tell you which grade they used. And some grills that look like stainless are actually painted steel with a stainless finish on the exterior panels. On a budget grill, the lid, the side panels, and the doors may look stainless, but the firebox underneath, where heat and grease combine for hours at a time, is often thinner mild steel with some type of porcelain or enamel coating. That coating protects it for a while, but if it chips, which it does from grate movement, cleaning, and thermal expansion, the steel underneath starts to rust. A $1,500 grill from a reputable brand uses 304 construction through more of the critical components. Not necessarily every nut and bolt, but the firebox, lid, cooking grates, and burner system are more likely to be heavier gauge material that holds up across seasons. The important difference on paper is gauge thickness. A grill with 14 gauge steel in the firebox handles heat, grease, and time differently than one built with 16 or 18 gauge. Thinner material warps at high temperatures. It also loses heat faster, which means the burners have to work harder to maintain temperature. Now let's talk about the burners, because This is where the cooking performance gap is most obvious. Budget gas grills at 250 typically use steel tube burners. Sometimes they are thin stainless, sometimes they are mild steel. Either way, on a cheaper grill, the burner material and the burner wall thickness are minimized to hit a price point. Owners regularly report that basic steel burners start showing corrosion or burn through within 2 to 4 years, especially if the grill is used often or not cleaned between cooks. Grease and debris collect inside the burner tubes, block the ports, and cause uneven flame. When your burners start running uneven, you get hot spots and cold zones across the cooking surface, and no amount of opening and closing the lid fixes that. Higher-end grills use burners made from heavier gauge stainless, cast stainless, or brass. Cast stainless and cast brass burners cost more to manufacture, but they resist corrosion significantly longer and maintain more consistent port spacing over time. Even heat delivery across the cooking surface is directly tied to whether the burner ports stay open and properly spaced. And premium burners hold their shape and integrity through thousands of heat cycles better than the cheaper alternatives. There is also the question of burner spacing and arrangement. More burners does not automatically mean better cooking. What matters is whether the burners are sized and spaced appropriately for the firebox they are in. A wide grill body with well-spaced burners gives you genuine heat zone control, a hot side for searing, and a lower side for finishing. A 3-burner budget grill may look similar on paper, but if the firebox is narrower and the burners are tightly grouped, you lose the real benefit of independent zone control. Now let's look at the lid, because this is a detail most people check with a glance instead of a real inspection. A single-wall lid is exactly what it sounds like. One layer of metal between the heat inside the grill and the outside air. On a cheap grill, that single wall radiates heat outward. The grill loses temperature faster when you open it, and it struggles to recover in cold or windy conditions. On a hot summer afternoon, a thin lid might be fine. But if you cook in spring or fall, or if you live somewhere that gets actual cold, a single wall lid on a budget grill can make temperature maintenance genuinely difficult. A double wall lid creates an air gap between 2 layers of metal. It acts like a light insulator. The internal temperature is more stable, heat recovery is faster after the lid is opened, and the outer surface runs cooler, which matters for a grill sitting near your home or a high-traffic patio. On premium grills, at $1,500, double wall lid construction is fairly standard. It is not magic, but it does change the cooking experience, especially on long indirect cooks, where lid temperature consistency actually matters. Here is where the money starts to make more sense, but only if you use it. If you grill a few times a year, a budget grill with a single wall lid and standard steel burners is perfectly capable of cooking burgers, chicken, and hot dogs. The grill will heat up, the food will cook. The results will depend mostly on your attention and technique, not on whether the lid has a second wall. Nobody needs a $1,500 grill to cook 8 burgers on a Saturday afternoon. But if you are cooking 3 or 4 nights a week, doing longer cooks, trying to hold indirect heat for bone-in chicken or thick pork chops, or if you plan to keep the grill for more than 5 or 6 years, the premium construction starts to pay back. The burners last longer, the firebox holds shape better, the grease management is usually more refined, and you spend less on repairs and replacement parts over time. Speaking of grease management, let's talk about that, because it is invisible until something goes wrong. Budget grills often use a shallow drip tray and a basic catch system that does not move grease away from heat efficiently. Grease pools, carbonizes, and eventually creates flare-up problems. The catch trays are also difficult to remove and clean on many budget models, so they get ignored until the grill starts flaring up on everything. That is a fire hazard and a cleaning nightmare. On premium grills, grease management systems are wider, angled better, and easier to pull out and clean. It does not sound exciting, but it changes how the grill performs and how long it takes to maintain it. Let's also address the grates, because they generate a lot of debate. A 250 grill will typically include porcelain-coated cast iron grates or porcelain-coated steel grates. Porcelain coating holds heat reasonably well and resists sticking when it is in good condition. But the coating chips over time from metal tools, cleaning brushes, and the simple stress of heating and cooling repeatedly. Once the coating chips, the exposed metal underneath rusts quickly. Many budget grill owners find themselves replacing grates within 3 or 4 years. Premium grills often include heavier stainless steel grates or thicker cast iron. Stainless grates require less maintenance, no seasoning, no rust treatment, and they hold up well when cleaned regularly. Cast iron grates on a higher-end grill do require some care, but they retain heat exceptionally well and produce excellent sear contact on steaks and chops. The trade-off is that cast iron needs to be dried after cleaning and occasionally oiled to prevent rust. Leave them wet and uncovered through a rainy season, and even good cast iron grates will develop surface rust faster than owners expect. Now here is where it gets a little more complicated, and where the price does not always move in the same direction as the value. Some of the features you are paying for on a $1,500 grill are genuine performance upgrades. Better burners, heavier firebox, improved grease management, double wall lid, longer warranty, better replacement part availability. Those are real. They affect how the grill cooks, how long it lasts, and how much you spend on it over a decade of use. But some of what you are paying for is finish quality and retail presentation. A polished handle, a backlit control panel, a built-in temperature gauge that reads well in the showroom. These things look sharp. They just do not change what happens to your chicken thighs at 400 degrees. The built-in lid thermometer is a good example. On most gas grills, it measures temperature near the top of the lid, not at grate level where the food is actually cooking. That reading can be off by 30 to 50 degrees compared to what is happening at grate height. A $15 instant read thermometer tells you more about your food than that gauge ever will, regardless of how expensive the grill is. There is also the warranty conversation, and this one matters more than most buyers realize. A 250 grill might carry a 1-year limited warranty or a short parts warranty with heavy exclusions. A premium grill from a reputable brand might carry a 5-year, 10-year, or even longer burner and firebox warranty. That gap in coverage means something when a burner fails in year 3. If your budget grill is out of warranty and the company does not stock replacement parts for that model, you are buying a new grill. If your premium grill has active warranty support and a parts catalog that goes back 15 years, you replace a burner for $30 and keep cooking. Owners consistently report that brands with strong replacement part networks extend the useful life of a grill significantly compared to brands that discontinue parts quickly or only sell through limited channels. Before you buy any grill at any price, check whether replacement burners, grates, heat tents, igniter components, and grease trays are available. If the company or major retailers do not stock parts for a model, that model has a hard ceiling on its usable life. So let me bring this to a clear comparison, because I do not want this to be vague. A $250 grill from a recognized brand, and there are solid options in that range from names you know, is appropriate for someone who grills occasionally, cooks mostly direct heat foods like burgers, sausages, chicken pieces, and vegetables, does not need long indirect cooking capability, wants something functional without a major investment, and can accept replacing the grill or key components in 5 to 8 years. In that situation, the money not spent on a premium grill is genuinely money saved. A $1,500 grill makes more sense for someone who grills frequently, say 3 or more times a week, wants genuine zone control for longer or more complex cooks, expects to keep the grill for 10 or more years, lives in a climate that is hard on outdoor equipment, and wants the confidence that replacement parts and warranty support are available if something fails. In that situation, the premium construction earns its cost over time. You may not recover the price difference in the first 2 years, but by year 7 or 8, the durability gap is real. And yes, there is a middle range. There are grills in the $400 to $700 window that offer meaningful upgrades over the entry level without the full premium price of a flagship model. Heavier burners, better grate material, improved grease management, longer warranty, some of those features appear in the mid-range without everything you are paying for at $1,500. For many backyard cooks who grill regularly but not daily, the best value is not at the bottom of the price range or at the top. It is somewhere in the middle, from a brand with proven replacement part availability and honest warranty support. Let me know in the comments what grill you are running and how long it has held up, especially if you made the jump from a budget model to something more premium, or went the other way and found a cheaper grill that surprised you. That is the kind of real-world comparison that matters more than any showroom floor conversation. Here is the honest takeaway. The money between a $250 grill and a $1,500 grill goes somewhere. Some of it goes into better steel, better burners, a stronger firebox, and a more reliable warranty. And those things genuinely affect how the grill performs over time. Some of it goes into finish quality, branding, and retail packaging. And those things do not change what happens to the food. A smart buyer figures out which category each feature falls into before spending the money, not after. You do not need the most expensive grill on the patio. You need a grill that fits how often you cook, what you cook, where you live, and how long you plan to keep it. If you are honest about those 4 things, the right answer usually becomes obvious, and it probably does not require either extreme. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who is grill shopping right now. I'm Jerry Davis, and I'll catch you in the next one.